Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines and buckle up for a ride through the heart of country music. Today, we're thrilled to welcome a powerhouse who is as comfortable behind the wheel of an 18-wheeler as she is behind a microphone. Inspired by legends like Barbara Mandrell and Elvis Presley, she's a modern-day storyteller with a heart as big as her dreams. So get ready for a real treat, because today we're bringing you a story that embodies the very heart and soul of country music, with a twist of diesel and determination. Our guest isn't just a rising star, she's the living, breathing definition of what it means to chase your dreams, no matter the miles on the odometer. She's a truck driver by trade, a Nashville recording artist by passion, and a woman whose journey through life mirrors the spirit of the songs she sings. Born and raised in syrup country, Marie Norris didn't just grow up on country music, she was made from it. Marie has always known she's to be destined for the stage, but life had other plans, and after years on the road as a truck driver, her musical dreams were put on hold. Yet, like any good country song, there's always a second act. Marie's back, and she's not just riding into the musical scene, she's owning it with her very own label, True Sound Records. From the open highways to the honky-tonks, she's blending the rugged sounds of the road with the classic twang of country. Her album, One Heart at a Time, is a testament to her resilience and love for the craft. She's written or co-written every song, putting her heart into each lyric and note, reminding us all that it's never too late to follow your dreams. And let's not forget, this musical powerhouse also has a heart of gold. Bree donates proceeds from every album sold to the Waylon Sullivan's Foundation, supporting families of children with Lowe syndrome. So whether it's the hum of diesel, the strum of a guitar, shifting gears on the highway, or hitting all the right notes on stage, this woman, who's as tough as a steel rig and as tender as a country ballad. Please join me in welcoming Marie Norris. Marie, thank you so much for your time and welcome to the show.
Well, hi. Thank you for having me. That was a real nice workup there. I enjoyed that.
I want to dive into it with you here. Actually, I want to back up really. You have an album out called Perfume and Diesel. I gotta say, I've been enjoying listening to all the tracks that are on there. And of course, my favorite is Perfume and Diesel. I think that's just a fabulous, weirdly rock country ballad that I don't know, I fell in love with when I heard it. But there's 11 great tracks. It's an amazing tune. It's available on all platforms. But those who haven't heard of this, walk us through what we can expect.
Well, I would say that it's a roller coaster ride of different genres. I mean, I throw a little bit of everything in there. There's tradition, there's rockabilly, there's pop sounding, there's modern country. You got a little bit of everything thrown in there. So, I mean, because I don't discriminate. I do what my heart feels necessary, regardless of the sound, because I think that there's two kinds of music, good and bad, and I stick with the good. So
I
it's
like
not
the,
about genre to me.
I like how there's only two types of music for you, good or bad. Uh,
Right. Yeah, well, that's what Barbara Mandrell always said. So yeah, I kind of got that saying from her. So it wasn't mine, but it's true. There's two types of music, good and bad, and I try not to listen to the bad and I stick with the good. So
Now, as you brought up Barbara Mandrell, it's been said that she's actually been a huge inspiration for you with your music and going through it. What kind of influence did she have on your career in music?
um she was the very beginning. I mean, without Barbara Mandrell, I would have never known that I wanted to be a singer. Um, she is the epitome of what an entertainer is. She's the entertainer's entertainer. I think I've said that before in interviews, but not very often because I don't usually get to talk about her a lot. But she really is the epitome of performer because not only could she sing, she can act, and she can play the heck out of many instruments. And mind you, she was proficient at most of the ones that she played. So, I don't think there was anything that she could pick up that she couldn't do. And I try and pride myself in not being a copycat, but, kind of living my life and my music around the same way, because she was my role model. She was the only thing that I had to look up to when I was a kid, because I really didn't have a whole lot of positivity at home. Um, and right now, that'll probably be as far as I go into that. But she was the one positive thing. The Lady is a Champ was the very first thing that I ever saw. And that was what made me fall in love with Barbara Mandrell. I mean, she was little, but she had a presence bigger than the moon and the stars in the sky. She had a presence that was just exploding onto the scene. She was larger than life, like a superhero to me. So, and watching her TV show on a weekly basis when it was on the reruns and TNN, that really helped me to grow as well. I tried to copy everything she did. I'd sit there, how you hear people talk about using their hairbrush. Well, I used a hairbrush to Barbara. I had no idea that she was so little, that she was about as big as the TV screen, for real, in real life, because she's a little lady. When I met her, I had no idea. Well, I didn't meet her, but when I saw her at the Opry, when I went to her 50th anniversary at the Opry House, I didn't realize just how small she was. So there was a lot of attitude and a lot of determination in that little bitty body that I so loved. And I think I noticed that right away. And like I said, there hadn't been a Barbara Mandrell, there wouldn't have been a Marie Norris, especially the singer. I probably would have been no longer in existence, honestly. I mean, because she was the one thing that kept me going. She gave me courage. She gave me strength. Her music lifted me up when I needed it, and it still does.
I love what you said here. I mean, there's a lot, and I love it. You had said that if it wasn't for Barbara Mandrell, you wouldn't have discovered or found country music. Why do you think that is? Why do you think country music as the genre was that, we found Barbara Mandrell and we fell in love with country? What is it about country music that just spoke to you?
Well, country is one of the, oh gosh, it's like down to earth. It is the, it's the genre that's close to your heart. It's the genre that tells stories. It, you know, cheating, lying, loving, leaving. All of those songs. Country song is just it's the perfect story. Each one is different. You know, uh, and I don't know why. I guess it just appeals to the heartstrings because of the fact that they're all ballads. A country ballad, there's nothing better to tell a story, or to have heartbreak, or to be happy, to be joyous, to um, lose everything. That's also country. Country tells every story. Country is the one genre I think that tells every story, where other genres don't quite touch on some things. Country's not afraid.
Hmm.
I mean, you can't really cuss in country music. I mean, that's like a big no-no, because I mean, unless you're an outlaw, of course. But as far as anything else, country kind of pushed the envelope. That was, I think, one of the things that I loved about it. It didn't come right out and say it, but it beat around the bush a lot. There was a lot of innuendo in country music, a lot of innuendo that what it means when you think about it, but at least they didn't come right out and say it like some of the music today, some of the genres today. At least country's clean. That's another thing that really impressed me with country music more than any other thing, is country music is really clean.
You know,
You don't hear the cussing, you don't hear all of the garbage that you hear in some music. Now, I don't mean to call any music garbage, but let's just say it. There is some stuff that I can't really understand. So
It's neat that you brought this up where cussing is kind of a no-no with country music. I think that's like a real question for a lot of people. Why is cussing in country music a no-no?
because we're Southern.
Hmm.
We're Southern people, most of us. We were raised with God and country, you know? So in country music, when you say a cuss word, it's like slapping somebody in the face, you know? It's disrespectful. It's kind of rude, you know, because I'm from the South. You know, I grew up in the Bible Belt of Georgia. So, you know, um, you just don't talk like that, you know. You might say stuff when no one else is listening, which is perfectly fine, but at least be respectful when you're in public. And to me, that's what country music represents. It represents the respect, the class. You know, it's the most respectful and classical version of music that I've ever heard, you know, genre of music. It definitely has class. It's sophisticated. I mean, just because you hear the word country does not mean that it has to be redneck, trashy music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not everybody talks like that. You know, everybody doesn't, you know, talk like a Jeff Foxworthy. You know, Jeff Foxworthy even puts that on as an act. You know, he knows that Southern people aren't really like that. I mean, there's some that are. I mean, but they're the ones that are from other areas, I guess. But you know, I like to see myself as a educated person, even though I'm still from the South. You know, but I really do. I think it's a respect thing. You
Now
know,
you
us having respect for our craft.
I like that you said that we have respect for our craft, we have respect for the listeners, and
The
therefore,
listener,
yeah,
yes.
we just
I
don't want
mean,
to turn
we
anybody
want
off.
kids to be able to listen to our music and to be able to have a positive, well, that's what I do anyway. I want children to be able to listen to my music and have a positive influence to look up to, you know, because if you're here and you're saying all of these dirty words out of your mouth every time you turn around, and I ain't gonna lie, I do. I mean, of course I do. I get mad and words fly out. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that Marie never says a cuss word because it'd be a lie. In fact, whenever I'm driving this truck, and if that camera that's in my truck could hear me, it would get a nice road rage every once in a while where I would cuss it out or cuss out somebody going down the road. But because I mean, I'm just being truthful, I'm being honest about who I am. But do I do that constantly just to no? When I'm driving this truck, I'm a different person because these people out here make me a different person
You know,
because they nuts, they crazy out here.
you had mentioned something a little bit earlier where country music kind of broad strokes on every story telling ability that's out there. And that's just, it's a beautiful message where, hey, here's one genre that can literally tell every story and make it these ballads. So when we talk about these storytellings and we talk about your music, where do you find the inspiration to tell your story through song?
Um, and I get asked that quite often. Uh, it could be any and everything. Like it could be something that I'm going through at the moment. I could see a billboard that says something, and I think, oh, that's neat. That'll make a great song title, you know. And then I'll write a song around the title. Usually, I have to have a chorus, and I work around. But if I can find a title, I can work around the title too. You know, eventually I can come up with the whole song. Sometimes a song will come to me while I'm driving down the road. And I mean, I won't even have a thought in my mind about writing a song at that point in time.
Mhm.
And I'll have to pull out or get my phone because I have my phone sitting in a cradle, right? You know, right on the top of my dash,
Yeah.
you know, so I could just touch it and hit a button where it'll record what I'm saying. And I'll just literally almost get a whole song driving down the road because it came to me while I was driving down the road. So yeah, I mean, every once in a while, I mean, I was going through something yesterday. I had a lot of stuff on my mind. As you know, rates are down out here. Share a little bit about us. Companies are hurting, the drivers are hurting now. You know, it's starting to get to the point where either you go home, you find a different job, or you stay out here and do what you've been doing for years and years and years. And that's one of the big reasons why I'm definitely hanging it all up next year and not going to do this anymore, because I don't see the industry getting any better
Mhm.
in trucking. And honestly, my heart's in my music. So,
It's
you
neat.
know,
When we look at you being in the trade of truck driving, my questions for you, like, how do you find time to practice and write and be creative while you're on the road? Like you see a billboard and say, "Hey, that's going to make a great song. Let's figure this out." But where do you find the time to, pick up an instrument and put notes and chords and get the pen to paper and craft it?
well, it starts with the lyrics for me. So I don't start with the guitar. I don't start with any instrument. It's lyrics first for me,
Mhm.
because 9 times out of 10, um, I don't even have anything to do with the music. The melody, I usually have somebody else do that for me, just on the sheer fact that I don't want to steal nobody's melody.
Mhm.
And secondly, um, it just takes too long for me. So I'm a lyricist for the most part, at this time anyway. Right now, I mean, I have done a few songs that were just me, but for the most part, I write the lyrics and I send them to someone and have them put the music to them, or I I develop collaborators that write with me pretty frequently.
Mhm.
So you know so I have contacts that I've had for years in Nashville and outside Nashville.
So when we look at Nashville and we look at the recordings and your songs and how they all come together, you actually have your own record label as well, True Sound Records. So what inspired you to go on that independent route to have your own company?
Well, it's not exactly, I created it to release my music because I wanted it to have a label to have the name. I
Mm,
didn't want it to be just Marie Norris, copyright Marie Norris, because that was just weird to me. Just, to have no label whatsoever. So I have an incorporation called Norris Management. So under the umbrella of my Norris Management Incorporated, I created True Sound Records. So it's a legal record company that has no address.
mm.
So it's basically a metaphor. You know, it's there, but it isn't there.
And when we,
I create, I don't have any other artists on my label, nor probably will I ever put any more on there. But it is an actual label. I mean, if and when the time gets appropriate and, my music starts going where I need it to go and I start having success, I may put it in a building and start helping other artists with artist development, because that's really what I want to do at a later time, is to kind of get involved and help the youngsters come up without having to sign away 95% of their music,
Mhm.
because that's what big labels do to you. They make you give your publishing away, and that's where you make your money when you're a songwriter.
Now, when we talk about music and we talk about your music and the true record labels and everything you want to do down the way of helping everybody out here, which is fantastic. I think it's spot on. What is kind of the biggest message you hope listeners take away from your music kind of now?
Um, I would just hope that they enjoy it, and because most of my music is heartfelt. It means something one way or another, especially to me. Um, I don't write stuff unless I feel it. Each song has a meaning for me. Um, so yeah, I would hope that they get a positive message. I would hope that for the 3 minutes, 4 minutes, whatever a song is, that they would smile, tap their feet, maybe even dance, just have a good time,
Yeah.
or forget about their worries and cares for just a little bit, and being just like Barbara's music used to do for me, it still does for me. I said that wrong, but like Barbara's music still does for me to this day. It puts me in a good mood. The whole time she's playing, I'm happy, I'm jovial, I'm excited, for whatever the future brings. And I would hope that my music, for at least that little bit of time, would do that for somebody.
Now, you had brought up the littles and helping people out, and I want to touch on this. You donate proceeds from your music to the Wayland Sullivan Foundation in support of Lowe syndrome, which is a rare genetic condition that causes varying levels of physical and mental handicaps and medical problems. Can you share with us why this cause is close to your heart?
Well, that actually came up because I did a truck show for that, and it was a Lowe's truck show in Hamilton, Alabama. That was what, a couple years ago, because I didn't do it this year. I did it in 2023, and I had a conflicting schedule this year for the same thing, because I'm anything for kids, children, and animals. I'm there. Like I did that for Low Syndrome last year, and when the new album was going to come out, which was The Road Takes a Toll, which that is now gone. That whole idea is gone. But I had offered to do $2 from each sale to Waylon Sullivan's foundation, um, from that album proceeds, whenever that truck show was coming along. Uh, and it was on my website. But yeah, technically, I really haven't made not $1 on my music, not one. I have either donated it or I've given them away. So, like St. Jude, I've done shows for that was benefiting St. Jude's, truck shows. I've done going on 3 shows for Make-A-Wish this year. I did 2 back in May. One in Boonville, Arkansas, that started the month of May. And then May 18th, I did the Anything on Wheels, which is Lee Owen's show. He's a truck driver. He does a lot of good things for St. Jude and any kind of children's thing. He's all about, helping with the kids, and I always donate my time. But yeah, we actually did grant a wish at one of the shows, and now October this month, later on this month, I'll be doing another show for Make-A-Wish with him called the American Truckers Jubilee, and I have sang there the last 2 years. This will make my 3rd year at Searcy for the American Truckers Jubilee. And it'll be October 26th that I'm singing. So, and it's all the proceeds are going to Make-A-Wish Mid-South.
And where can people learn more about you? What are your handles if we go to Google or Spotify? Where can we hear your songs?
You can hear them at any digital platform, any of them at all. You just type in my name. For the most part, I will come up. Marie Norris Music is all of the social media platforms. Just put in Marie Norris Music, it will pop me up. because there's no other Marie Norris music that I know of. So that's about it there.
And Marie, you said sometimes the label or the title will come to you before anything else. And I'm gonna go back in time with you here to Perfume and Diesel. Where did that song title and album name come from? Where did that inspiration of, hey, you know what would be amazing? Perfume and Diesel. But I love it, and I love the tracks that are on there. Just wondering where that name generated from.
um, it's a funny story, actually. Um, I was just before the year before, actually, I was on my way to Vegas the year before I wrote that song. Um, we were pressed for time, uh, and I was taking the truck across the street to the truck stop from the hotel that we had stayed at the night before, getting ready or whatever to go to fly out to Vegas to have vacation from Nashville. And I took the truck across the street to the truck stop to fuel because it needed fuel to be able to auto start for the while we were going to be gone. And so I put fuel in it, and the nozzle pops out. And it was in my really good clothes, my traveling clothes, a nice outfit just got drenched in diesel. So I go back to the hotel. I didn't really have time to take a shower because we were already pressed for time. So I changed clothes at least, and wound up having to cover the smell that was all in my hair. And obviously it was all in my skin or whatever, because I had to put perfume on to cover up the diesel smell. But the perfume didn't really mask it well enough, because that whole trip I was sitting there smelling diesel and it giving me a headache. And I'm feeling really sorry for this person that was sitting next to me on the flight, because I happened to be the odd one out and had to sit over here in the aisle seat, because we had to even catch a later flight. And it was like we had to take whatever seat was available. And because of me getting drenched in diesel and losing the key, I lost the car key, because we had rented a car and we were going to leave it at the airport in Nashville, so that we wouldn't have to park our car there or whatever and pay all those fees or whatever. And my gosh, if I didn't leave the key sitting on top of the diesel island, and we couldn't find it nowhere. And so that was another thing to boot. I couldn't find the rental car key anywhere. It was like nowhere to be found. Forgot that I had it in my hand whenever I fueled, and stuck it up on top of the fuel island. So we went back over there after I got changed and all that stuff, because it was a fob. It's a fob. So the fob was sitting on top of the damn fuel island. But anyway, yeah, that's how Perfume and Diesel. That's where the title came from. But I never thought that the title would be good enough, because Perfume and Diesel is a very weird combination. And I know that from experience, because I've smelled it together. Even with the best, I mean, because I think it was, what was the perfume that I mixed it with? I think it was Escambia or something, one of the, the higher, and to me that perfume smells really good, but with diesel mixed in, it don't, no, none of that smells good with diesel. It's just gross.
I love that story.
Diesel cannot be covered up. Yeah, yeah.
And Marie, what's something that makes you smile?
Well, I mean, just about anything. But yeah, if I hear, and this is just going back to childhood, if I hear a Barbara Mandrell song or an Elvis Presley song come on the radio, or it comes on while I'm doing my streaming or whatever, because I do stream quite a bit. I don't listen to much radio anymore. I'll say, because they just don't play stuff I like anymore. for the most part. I have to sit through stuff I don't really care for, so I don't really listen to it that much. But music makes me smile, Barbara Mandrell, Elvis Presley, you know, I mean, there's a lot of other music that makes me smile too, but um, that's for the most part. I mean, music is my lifeline. It's what makes me happy. It's my passion. So anything to do with music, as long as I'm doing it, and even performing music, that's even more of a smile on my face. I am so much more happy on the stage in front of people singing than I am any other way, because it's where I'm home. It's where I feel I'm meant to be. This truck is just it's just a tool, really. I mean, I didn't really expect to be a truck driving singer. I mean, if you'd have told me that 20 years ago, whenever I was first starting my life out, really, I would have never thought it.
I think that's the title of your new song, Truck Driving Singer. And Maria, I have time for one last question for you today. And I thank you so much for your time with being here with me at Coffee with Chris. Is what kind of coffee do you grab in the morning, or when you're on the road, what keeps you going?
Yeah, I'm fueled. I'm definitely coffee fueled in the morning. Yeah, I mean, that's the one vice I've still got left is caffeine. So yeah, I'm caffeine fueled and diesel running.
Caffeine fueled, diesel running, and truck driver singer. I think there's two new songs coming up for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm working on some. Yeah, I wrote a nice doozy yesterday, or started one, but I ain't giving no hints just yet
When can we
because I was a
expect the
little
new word?
angry. I was a little upset. I have a new single coming out very soon, though, called "The End of the Road."
Okay.
It's dedicated to suicide prevention and awareness. So it's universal. I write things really about the things that I care about. So that's another thing that's very close to my heart. Human trafficking, any sort of human trafficking, whether it's sex trafficking or whatever kind of trafficking it is. Um, we're out here to try and stop that.
Mhm.
Truckers are really involved in that. We see a lot of things while we're out here driving down the road and parked at the truck stops, because a lot of it technically really happens at the truck stops. I mean, you'd be surprised at how many of these people that knock on your doors are just young girls that don't have a choice
Mhm.
doing it. So, or young guys even. It doesn't have, it doesn't it doesn't know the difference between the sexes, it doesn't
Of course, yeah.
know the difference between a girl and a boy. So, there is no discrimination. So, you know, but yeah, that's coming soon. It will be out before the end of October for certain. And then there'll be new music after that. I
Well,
mean,
we're
because
looking
I'm
forward.
working on new music all the time. So,
Well, everyone out there, make sure you get to Google Marie Norris music, Perfume and Diesel. She has more singles coming out. It's going to be amazing. She's hopefully hanging up her truck driver keys, cleats next year to focus on music full time. She's going to be on billboards and everything. We're manifesting together. Thank you again so much for your time. Remember to smile to inspire everybody and have a fantastic day.
okay, you too.